Welcome. This is HR That Works President Don Finn. In just a few minutes, I'm going to give you a very quick overview about what we lawyers call the Bermuda Triangle of employment law. And that's the relationship between the FMLA, of course it applies when you have 50 employees, the ADA 15 or more employees, in California it's 5 or more, and return to work, which of course applies to every employer. And generally the situation, the challenge starts off in the workers' comp context when you're trying to get somebody back to work. And the first thing we teach everybody when you've got a work comp claim is you want to pay the compensation part of the claim. Because if you don't pay that, the insurance companies pay that. They finance it at a very heavy rate. So if they're paying the employee $1, you're paying them back $1 plus over 3 years through an increase in your experience modifier. So remember, insurance companies don't pay claims, they finance claims. So that's how we eliminate the financing in the compensation arena. When it comes to the medical arena, you have to make sure you have very good claims management because, again, the insurance company has no interest in reducing the claims. It really doesn't. That's how they make their money, financing these claims. So you've got to have good case management and stay on top of people in that process. Now, arguably, we want to get this person back to work. We don't just pay them to stay at home. We want to pay them to do something here. So it's generally called transitional work or light duty work. Now, the challenge in this Bermuda Triangle thing kicks in when the employee says, I don't want to do that work. It's too demeaning for me. I don't want to do it. Whatever the excuse is, I can't do it. And then the employer many times says, well, good, then you're fired. And that's where they get themselves in trouble, because that work comp injury typically will be bad enough that it amounts to a disability under the Americans with Disabilities Act, which now requires you to have an accommodation discussion with them. So we have an entire ADA training module, an accommodation flow chart that goes with it. And in fact, I'll put on the bottom of this video here a comparison chart of the ADA, FMLA, and work comp, both under federal law and California law, so you can look at some of those distinctions. Now again, if this person can be accommodated, it doesn't mean you have to create a light duty position for them. They need to be accommodated to do the job they were hired for. So for example, if a guy hurts himself in the warehouse and can't lift the 50-pound boxes, he might come back to work in a light duty position where he's not doing any lifting in that position. He's stuffing envelopes or whatever, and the guy says, I don't want to stuff envelopes, so I can't do that. You can't necessarily fire them, because then the question is there some way to accommodate him to lift those boxes, say a lifting mechanism or something like that? If you ever get stuck in the accommodation conversation, you can always call the hotline or contact the Job Accommodation Network. Just type in JAN in Google, it'll be the first thing that shows up. Now the last part of the equation is, let's say there's no way to accommodate them, no go and return to work. If you have more than 50 employees, odds are that injury amounts to a serious medical condition. And under the FMLA, that person has up to 12 weeks of leave, and it can be intermittent leave. And if you're going to go through that, both of these are very paperwork-driven processes. So you'll see the forms in HR That Works for people to ask for a disability accommodation, the forms to fill out an FMLA, serious medical condition leave request. And you've got to really force people into following step by step by step that process. So that's the Bermuda Triangle. That's how you stay out of trouble in it. And again, look at those charts or forms that we have below that'll help you guide you through this challenge. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy this 5-minute video. We'll have plenty more for you. Take care.